Should we have an intro?
This is our podcast intro.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to his podcast. I'm Oscar. This is my sister, Sofia. This is our podcast. We tell stories and just talk about stuff that happened throughout the week and whatever else we can think of. Sofia, you know what I realized?
No.
Today is August 11th.
Wow.
You know what that is?
The 11th of August.
Not only. You know what else?
Sunday.
It is the day before
Monday.
1 year since I moved away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we moved away on we moved out on the 12th, or the day we drove out here. Technically, the lease was like a year and a week ago.
Oh,
but I think the lease started like on the 2nd or some shit, and then we came out here on the 12th.
Wow.
So I thought it might be a good idea to tell some of my favorite stories of the year, or over the course of that year. Oh, I could tell that story. I don't know. No. Maybe. You want to hear a story that involves drugs? Not usage or possession, just then the mention of. Can we even say drugs?
Where'd your face go?
I'm going back and forth to my
They're
notes. That's why.
Pharmaceutical drugs. That's the type of drugs he's talking about. Okay, keep going now.
That's not.
That
doesn't
legal.
Help, bro.
Yeah, it does, because those ones are legal.
Prescription is the better word you're looking for. All drugs are pharmaceutical, you think is.
Wait, actually?
I think technically no.
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked.
Chemists and pharmacists. Well, then, how about you stop talking, all right? Well, do we do that? Do I tell stories, or did you have anything?
Can I talk now?
Yeah. What do you mean? You've been able to talk.
You said stop talking. Anyways,
Did I?
Yeah, we could talk about that. Yes, you did. I only have one thing.
Yeah, I did.
I only have one thing to think about talking, and it's not really long. So depending on, I don't know if you want to, like, let me say mine first, because it's not that long, or if you want to just say it and then I'll just say mine.
Right.
Okay. So I have a very, 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 very important test date coming up this Friday, right? And I've been super stressed about it. So stressed to where, TMI, I was late on my period for like 2 weeks. And I just got it, which is like the worst timing. Because I just got it now. And I'm taking the test this Friday. So I'm all like, But anyways, it's a very important test.
You can stress yourself out of a period?
Not out, just like delayed. But yeah. But anyways. Yeah. And I feel like you're like, this is a whole new world.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
I didn't know that was a thing. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
That's amazing, because I feel like that just makes it worse. Like, you know what I mean? Most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, usually when it's pushed back, like, it just, like, comes back with a vengeance, you know? But anyways, besides the point. Very important test, very stressed, right? Also,
wait, that's not the point of what you're saying right now?
No.
So you just threw that in there for fun?
Yeah.
Just thought we should know?
No, so that, like, you can get into the mindset of me. So you can, like, understand.
Okay, hold on. Let me think of all the times I've bled.
Yeah. And now imagine that it didn't happen when it was supposed to happen. And then now it's just like a gushing river. Just kidding. Anyways, besides the point. How? What's it called? No, yeah. And also, it's our dad's birthday this week. And he is going to Phoenix to, like, visit Oscar for, like, his birthday. And they're flying me out there on Friday so that I could go in that weekend, because I have the weekends off. But that means I'm taking my test, my very, very important test that I've been so stressed about, that test, the same day I'm flying out, right? And so if I pass the test, it's great, like, woohoo! Woo! But if I don't pass the test, Oscar, I'm probably going to be crying, like, the rest of the day.
You better not show up here with a fucking attitude, bro. We ain't got time for that.
Listen, no. I'm going to get on the airplane, and then whoever ends up sitting next to me, I'm just going to be there like...
You're going to cry in public?
I'm going to try not to.
And burden these people?
Yes. Imagine?
No, you piece of shit.
Like, imagine? Like, that person's probably gonna be like...
You just show up next to
What
someone
the
and she's
fuck?
crying her fucking ass off. And you're just like,
They're like, what is wrong with
I'll
this
sit
person?
somewhere else if you want. Like,
You know what I mean? Like, imagine. Which, actually, now that I think about it, is making me think back to the first time I ever flew by myself. When I had gone to San Antonio for Crossman. That was also...
that was the first time?
That I flew by myself, yeah. We had flown, like, once before, but I don't remember it. Like, it was... Like, we were really
You'd
young.
flown multiple times before that, but not completely alone.
I don't know. I don't remember those times. The first time that I really remember was then. Because that was also when I realized that, like, I was scared of flying.
You remember
because of
when
the
we flew to
turbulence.
Puerto Rico, bro?
We flew? Oh, we did.
What, you think we fucking walked? Do you
Yeah.
know what Puerto Rico is, Sofia? What the fuck?
I've hit my head a lot as a kid, okay? I have some memory loss. It's not my fault.
Thanks. That's gonna be a great clip. Jesus. We flew? You think we fucking walked?
We could have swam. Anyways, no. Listen, that was when I realized, like, I was scared of turbulence, right? But also it was the first time I was flying alone, and it was the first time that I also was going to be away from my family for, like, an extended period of time. I had just, like, turned 18. Like, you know what I mean? I had just I hadn't even graduated high school yet.
Well, I know you said it, and I know that anybody that knows is already going to know, but I kind of still feel the need to just, like, give a little more detail. Haven't we said this before on the podcast? Well, I haven't said it, so you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For all of you band geeks, if there's any band geeks here watching, former band geek, I was part of the drumline in high school. Sofia was on the flag team. For all the band geeks that know what fucking...
DCI?
What is it?
DCI?
Not DCI. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Marching band or what?
Like drum corps, I get. Not marching band. I was going to say drum corps. I think drum corps was the word I was looking for. Anyways, all of you band geeks that know what DCI is, because the rest of the world doesn't fucking know, because they're not band geeks. Sofia was part of the Crossman Color Guard in 2019.
With Valkyrie. I was part of the Valkyrie show. It was the first time.
She was part of the Valkyrie show. She has pictures of her, like, all fucking, like...
Yeah, it was the first... Actually,
should we put a picture? We should put a picture.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. It was the first...
And in case any of you give a shit, or any of you saw that show, or any of you like that show, Sophia was part of it.
I was. That was the first time that the Crossman had no, I think it was the first ever all-female color guard. Like, that had ever... Yeah,
What?
it was... Yeah, first all-female color guard in DCI. But yeah. Anyways, I was flying out to go do that, right? And so it was the first time I was going to be, like, completely, like, separate from my family. And it was the first time I was flying alone, so I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, they walked me to the TSA, and they're like, all right, go. And I was like, okay. And I went, and then I asked this lady, I was like, hey, like, what number are you? Because I fly with Southwest. And so I asked her the number to see, like, where you land, whatever, right? And she's like, oh, I'm this one. You're right behind me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went. Bless this lady. It was like it was early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. And then we board, and then it's her, a space, and then some dude, right? And then I asked her, I was like, is it okay if I sit, like, in the middle? And I point, and, like, I looked young. Like, I feel like right now I don't really look my age, but especially then, I looked like a little kid. Like, I looked really young. You know what I mean? And so
You think you look younger than you are?
Huh?
You think you look younger than 23 or whatever you are?
Yeah, I've been told. I don't know if I think it, but I've been told by several people, so I'm inclined to think that I do.
So you're like, you generally accept
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, and so I had asked her, and I could tell, like, when I had asked her, I was, like, really, like, timid and, like, nervous, and I was like, excuse me, do you, right? Right? And then she explained the whole thing. She's like, yeah, just wait here. And then she was explaining how, like, the thing worked. But she didn't, like, really, like, she wasn't, like, prying or anything. And I was like, okay. And then we went, and then there was that space. I was like, is it okay if I sit there? And she's like, oh, you know what, Mika? Like, you can, because she was in the window seat. She's like, you can sit here. I'll sit in the middle. I was like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. And then she moved, and I was like, and I was there, and I was, like, very clearly, like, kind of freaked out. And then
she left you there? She didn't sit in the middle?
No, she sat in the middle.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. Which I didn't.
Okay.
So she went above and beyond. I was just asking if I could sit next to her. You know what I mean? And then it kind of all hit me like, oh my God, like I'm going to be away for like months and like this is going to be hard and like I'm not going to see anyone and I'm about to fly. And then I start like kind of hyperventilating. Like I was crying because I don't know, like I got really like anxious, you know what I mean? And then I remember texting mom. I was like, Mom, I'm really anxious and scared. And she's like, and then she was telling me like, oh, like she was giving me breathing techniques to like stop freaking the fuck out. And she's like, it's okay, you'll be fine. Blah, 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 blah. Go ahead and take a deep breath in, hold it.
You wanted this, motherfucker.
Take a deep breath in, hold it for however many seconds and breathe out. I was like, okay. And so I was there crying. And then we took off. And then like we started hitting really bad turbulence. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. What choices have I made in my life? Like, why did I want to do this? Like, I was all like,
what led me to this place? Like...
yeah, I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And I remember I was like gripping the armrest, like freaking like white knuckling it. Like I was just like, right? And I'll think back because like I want to know what like that lady was thinking, you know? Like I was like, what was she? Did she think I was like running away or like what?
Damn, this girl's a pussy, bro.
Like, you know what I mean? But she was so nice. I will never forget her. She was so nice. She was so sweet.
What was her name?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't expect you to say that. It sounds like you forgot.
No, I don't think she ever told me her name. I didn't ever tell her my name. I know that much. Yeah, no. But no, yeah. And then I was there and I was like, and she had asked me, like, she was like, oh, is this your first time flying? And I'm like, she had asked me if it was my first time flying. I said, yeah. It wasn't my first time flying, but like it was my first time flying alone. And like I was just freaked out and just the answer yes came out. I was just like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, like, it's okay. We're just going through some turbulence right now. Like, it'll even out eventually. Like, don't worry. And I was like, okay. And then I eventually fell asleep because it was like 6 a.m. And then I woke up and then like the dude that was at the end of the aisle, like once we were all like onboarding the plane, like getting off, he was like, oh, like, where are you ladies off to? And then he was like, and then she said, wherever. And then I was like, which was in San Antonio because I was flying out to San Antonio. And then she's like, oh, like, this is just kind of a stop, but I'm flying out to wherever. And then I was like, oh, like, I'm flying here to San Antonio. And then he was like, wait, you guys aren't like going to the same place? And we're like, no. And then he like looked at me and he was like, oh, are you like going to join her like in a couple days? Like, do you guys have family here? Or, like, what? And then we were like, what? And then we were like, no.
I thought you were related.
And then he was like, oh, aren't you her mom? To that lady. And she was like, oh, no, we like never met. I was like, yeah, no. And then he looked at me weird. He was like, oh. And then he kind of looked at me like, what are you doing here type of like look. And I was just like, and my eyes were probably still like all puffy and shit from like crying and then sleeping, you know? But yeah, anyways, that's my flying experience. So hopefully that doesn't re-happen to some new stranger. And I don't traumatize them.
Oh, I was about to, I didn't want to put it like this, but I could put it like this to be mean, but I didn't want to be mean, but I also didn't know how else to put it. I was going to be like, what the fuck is the point of this story? Like, what were you leading to? Or like, just that it was a fun story? Like, all right, cool. But I completely forgot how it matters.
Yeah.
But no, because you're going to fly again by yourself on Friday.
And I was like, hopefully I don't fail, because then I'll like be like crying next to some random
And you haven't done that since then.
And I haven't done that since 2019.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? But isn't that funny? Anyways.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, she was such
that was Sophia's first experience leaving home.
Yeah, she was.
Or kind of getting away from home
for
a little bit.
She was such a nice lady. I hope only good things happen to her in life and that she never stubs her toe.
Bro, I tell you, I broke my toe. I think I broke my toe.
Oh, yeah. You're telling me about that.
I hit the shit out of my toe on my bed, right? And it fucking hurt. And then it was hurting for a few days. And I was like, that happens. And then it was hurting for a few weeks and a few months after that. And I was like, that doesn't happen. Because like it wouldn't hurt when I like walk on it. But when I would like press it or like bend it, like if I was fucking with it, it would hurt. And even now, if I kind of like step on it a little weird, it like hurts. Well,
did it get all bruised?
But then
was it like crooked?
No, but if you feel it, it feels like bumpy in a way that my other pinky toe is. It's my pinky toe, by the way. It feels bumpy in a way my other pinky toe is definitely not. Like they should have the same bumps in the same places. You know what I mean? Like the same bends, same kind of like general curves and shit. It's not. I'll show you. It's fucking weird. I swear. I think it's broken.
For free 99, you're gonna show your dogs off to the
I'm not.
internet?
Oh, I'm gonna show you, asshole. You're my sister. You fucking idiot. Anyways,
I was just like, I mean, to each
I need
their
someone
own.
else. I need someone else to touch my toes so they can tell me if there's an actual like difference or if it's just in my head. I'm
Have
like pretty
Perkins
sure
touch
there's
your
a
toe.
difference.
Since Josh
Nah.
isn't there.
Nah, that
It'll
fool's gonna
bring you
like
guys
it.
closer, you know?
That's a perfect segue. Cause I have stories about Perkins
Did you guys kiss?
being a little sus, you know, and I want to tell them.
Why don't you text him and then, or like, oh yeah, because you're all by yourself, huh? Because Perkins like left and then Josh isn't.
Oh yeah, let me tell you guys
here
right
right
now,
now.
my cousin Josh is back in El Paso
Mm-hmm.
to get the registration for his car,
Mm-hmm.
and then my friend roommate Perkins
His friend
is visiting his friend in Seattle, so I'm here by myself all weekend.
They call him the lonely boy.
Only the lonelies.
Dum,
Anyways,
dum, dum,
all right, shut up, Sofia. So, which stories should I tell first? You know what? I wrote this down, I think, as a topic to talk about ever since it happened, and it happened within 2 months of moving here. I'm like 90% sure. I don't think Perkins was even here yet. So, me and Josh were here, right? We had bought some groceries. We're hanging out, going to the gym, this, that, whatever. I was trying to diet because I was like, I need to get back into shape. Fuck all this. I'm not fucking around no more. Going to the gym every day, eating right, not eating out, blah, 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 blah. It really helps when you're broke as shit because then you can't afford to go to eat out anyways, right? So anyways.
That's funny.
So me and Josh were here one time and we had gone to the gym and shit and we were just chilling. And then he was like, yo, I'm craving like chocolate. And I was like, me too. And he was like, you want to go to the store and get chocolate? And I was like, yes. So we come upstairs, get keys, whatever, blah, blah, head out to the Walmart. We're at Walmart. I think we're just going to buy like a chocolate, maybe one or two, whatever. Head on back, eat the chocolate, feel bad about ourselves. It'll be a great time, right? At least we have each other. So we go, walk to the Walmart, start looking at the chocolates. I pick out one. This is one fucking Snickers peanut butter square things, or like the little brownie ones in the purple packages. It just comes with 4 squares in there.
Yeah.
One fucking thing of brownie peanut butter Snickers, right? Or brownie Snickers, right?
Because
I'm
like
craving
a million or what?
Chocolate. Josh got a whole fucking like 28 count box of Pop-Tarts, a fucking Pop-Tarts? 6 count package of strawberry cinnamon rolls, a fucking bag of turbos, I can't even remember what the fuck else, but I know for sure he got those 3 things, and he still got like
chocolate.
Fucking peanut, like M&Ms or some bullshit. In addition to that, he got like 6 things in the name of his I'm craving chocolate. I went and got one fucking chocolate.
Treat.
This fucking guy got all this shit, and we're there at the Walmart like paying and leaving like. Got our little snacks.
He wanted a little sweet treat. There's nothing wrong with that.
He didn't eat all of that then and there. He ate it over the next few days. But still, it was so funny to me where it was like, I'm craving chocolate. Me too. Okay, let's go get something real quick. This motherfucker got all of this shit. And then you know what's worse? He
didn't eat the chocolate?
Well, no, he ate his chocolate and he had all his other shit. You know what's worse?
Yeah. What?
I gave him some of my fucking Snickers. Because I was like, nah, I don't need to be eating all of this. I just had 1 or 2 to like satiate myself. And I gave him the rest. Fucking skinny people. I hate them.
Well, it's a good thing you don't hate yourself.
Dude. Bro. That was so unnecessary.
That was such a good one, though. Tell me it wasn't.
You could have phrased it better.
You
have been like, oh, so you should have been like, oh, I bet you love yourself then. You know what I mean? Like, something like that I think would be better. But that was good. Anyways, shut up. That happened within like a month of us moving out here.
Yeah.
And I've actually, because we didn't start the podcast until like February, March-ish, I had written that down. And I was like, yeah, we're going to start the podcast soon because my original goal was to start it before the year ended. So I wrote it. I was like, we'll talk about that soon, whatever, blah, blah. It's been a year. That's crazy, right?
Been a year.
Anyways, here's another story. So I moved out here to Phoenix, right? And it was my first time moving out of my parents' house. It's my first time moving out of my hometown. It was my first time in an apartment. My first time. Yes, it was.
No, you went to Phoenix before.
I had a little 2-week stint in 2020. I didn't really move out. I was like gonna kind of. Either way, first time. No, but the plan at that time was always to go back. Because in 2020, I came out here to Phoenix and I was gonna spend the semester here because it was online because of COVID. I didn't like it. I went back right away, like 2 weeks. Anyways,
which is so whack. No, which was so whack.
There's a lot of other shit. Shut up. When why do you have to take such a big deviation?
Listen.
There's a lot of other reasons as to why I went back. Yes, it was whack because I left and Sofia got all fucking sad. And as soon as she got over the fact that I was gone, I came back.
No, listen. No.
Yeah, listen, okay.
Listen, because he left and I was all sad at work and they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. And then I eventually cried in the freezer, as you do at fast food and restaurant places. Don't cry in public. You go to the freezer and you cry. Or the walk-in. Anyways, I was in the walk-in crying. And my manager walked in. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just really miss my brother. He loves him. Right? Crying, mumbling stuff. And then 2 weeks later, Oscar visited me in the Wendy's drive-thru because he came back. And they were like, I thought he left. And they all kind of like knew who he was just because like he liked annoying me in the drive-thru and like just saying annoying stuff. Yeah. And so they were like, I thought he left. I was like, oh yeah, he did. But then he decided he didn't like it over there. So he came back. And then they're like, so you cried all of that, all like being all dramatic for nothing? And I was like, yeah. But anyways, so fun little story. I wanted to say that because I thought it was funny. Anyways.
Okay, whatever.
So this is the first time he actually.
When I moved out here.
Like really.
I moved out here. It's the first time. Well, because again, I was going to spend the semester. So there was always like an intention of going back. I wasn't dropping out of school or anything. Though it ended up being fucking 2 semesters online and I probably would have stayed. Anyways. So it's first time moving out of my hometown. First time living anywhere other than El Paso. First time in my own apartment. First time paying bills. First time. A lot of firsts, right? When we moved out here. What also happened is I went to a club for the first time. Like, I think an actual club, like multiple floors, music, drinks, hoochies everywhere. Like, I went somewhere right here on Mill Ave for everybody that knows Phoenix. Like, you know. Anyways, this is what happened. It was amazing. You know what I learned, Sofia?
What?
You know what I learned?
What?
Did you know that when you're out at clubs, sometimes random strangers will just look you in your eye and ask you if you have any like fucking nose powder?
Like that?
Stop doing that, you stupid idiot. Would you fucking answer me? What are you doing?
I don't know.
You're fucking up my timing and my joke. You're supposed to be surprised. You're just here fucking looking in the camera and shit. Bro, did you know that?
Funny. I think I'm so funny. No.
Did you know that?
No,
I didn't fucking know that.
To me.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. I was literally, let me tell you, some girl asked me if can we say the actual word? Anyways, I didn't know that when you go to clubs, sometimes strangers will fucking look at you and be like, hey, you got anything I could fucking, right? And I was
I'm trying to build a snowman, you know?
So this what happened. I was there and I was just chilling because I wasn't hitting on anybody and I don't really like to dance like by myself. And I wasn't fucked up because I don't drink, right? I'm there with my cousin and his 2 friends. So we're there. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I'm just kind of standing there off to the side, right? Some girl is sitting at this little counter thing, like a few feet away from me, right? And she fucking like taps my cousin on his shoulder, and he's all fucked up because that's how we do, right? She taps him on his shoulder. He turns around, and it's all loud, so you can't like hear shit or whatever, right? There's fucking music playing and all sorts of shit. She taps him on his shoulder. He turns around and he's like, and he just points at me. And then I was like, I saw him point at me, and I know he knows who I am. So I'm like, what the fuck are you pointing at me for with this girl, right? He points at me. She looks at me, and she's like, with this face of like interest, but not like attraction.
But not like interest, more like.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and I was like, what? And then this is what she does. I didn't even fucking notice it. She was just there. She looked at me and she looked at him and she looked at me. And then she like puts her arms on the counter and she was like, and she did that shit. If you guys didn't catch it, like I didn't, she fucking rubbed her finger on her nose.
Here,
like
look. I'll give you a slow mo. I'll give you a slow mo.
Hold on.
Look. I'll give you a slow mo. Look.
No, I'm telling the story. Shut the fuck up. She rubs her finger on her nose like that, and I didn't catch it. And so she fucking looks at me like this, and she's doing this sort of like, yeah, do you, right?
Like,
and I was like, and I was just looking at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she does this. She was like, and she does it again, and I was like, this itchy nose having ass bitch. What the fuck are you doing here? Are you sick? Get out. Like, this is a club. People are all fucking all up on each other, right? I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Then she did it again. And she kind of like looked at me like, and she did it slowly. Like, she did it slowly like the third or fourth time. She was like, hello? Huh? And I was like, what? Like, eventually I finally like, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She waves me over, and I was like, what the fuck does she want? And I came up to her, and she whispered, she was like, do you have any booger sugar, right? She didn't say that. She said the actual word, but I don't say it because people get mad at us. She was like, do you have any blah, blah? Just straight up in my ear. And I was like,
no.
No. And she was like, no. And I was like
offended.
No.
Like, what do you like? All no, like, what do you mean no?
And she like looks at my cousin like, what the? I'm sorry. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. Like, never mind. Like, my bad. Sorry. And I was like, no, you're good. Like, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You know, like, was I supposed to? Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, no.
Does everyone at clubs have this? Like,
yeah. Like, am I the asshole? Like, and I was like, nah, my bad. Whatever. So then I walk back and I still look at her because I'm still like amazed.
What the
heck? She fucking turns and she fucking smacks my cousin on the shoulder. She's like, hey! And he fucking turns around, not having a clue what's going on. He's all fucked up and he's all like, what? And he turns around and he looks at her and she was like, come here, motherfucker. And this is exactly what I see because I can't hear anything, but I could just see him. He's like this. He leans over and she fucking talks to him and he does this. Right? He's all like, me? And she's like, no. And then he's like, what? And she goes, and she points at me and he's like, him? Like, he's all fucking amazed. Like, him? No. And he starts doing that shit. He's not talking, of course, but he's like, me? And she points at me and he was like, him? No. And he like starts freaking out.
Like he does
No. Like, no, sorry, but like, no, that's not what's going on. And she was kind of just like, what the fuck is going on here? And she fucking left, right? Here's my favorite part about hanging out with this cousin. He gets all fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the fun part. The fun part is the next day, he never remembers what the fuck happened. So I get to tell him the story of what happened. And he gets to like live it all over again. Where he's like a character watching a movie starring him and he's like unaware of it. Like it's news to him, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only redeemable part about how fucked up he gets. So the next day, we're at my other cousin's house. We're just chilling, right? And he was like, oh, my friends, like, that really liked you because it was my first time meeting both of them. I think one of them I had met before, but then the other one I met for the first time. And, like, I had kind of had some conversations with him, but I never met him in person. And he was like, all my friends, like, they really liked you, like they thought you were cool and this and that. And I was like, I'm a cool motherfucker, bro. Like, yeah, I figured that. And like, whatever. And we were just chilling. He was like, did you have fun yesterday? Or like, what did we do? And I was like, we went here. We were doing this. We were doing that. You kept trying to put money into the broken punching bag machine. We kept trying to stop you. It was, it was a hard time. Blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, we were just chilling. And then I was like, yo, some girl yesterday asked me if I had any fucking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, when? And I was like, when we were at this place, she asked me if I had any fucking, and he was like, what? Why?
Would she think
What the
that?
fuck? What the fuck makes her think that you had it? Because I don't do any sort of, extracurriculars, and I don't
He's
drink,
not a
and I don't
hooligan at
smoke.
all.
I don't do anything, right? And so he kind of knows me as like a very clean cut kind of like, right? And so he was like, what the fuck? Like, why would she ask you that? And I was like, she thought I had some. And he was like, why? What the fuck? What makes her think you would have any? And this is the thing. This is who he is. He was genuinely like offended on my behalf with this interaction. He was like, what the fuck makes her think that you would have some? And I was like, you told her I did. And he was like, why the fuck would I do that? Because he knows that he doesn't remember shit. So he believes me when I tell him this happened, that happened, you said this, whatever. I was like, you told her I did. And he turned around and he was like, why the fuck would I do that? Like, he felt
Like
bad and he had this
asking
look on
you,
his
like-
face like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, he's like, why the fuck would I do that? And I was like,
I don't
that's
fucking
kind
know.
of the point of this conversation here. Like, why would you tell her? Like, what the fuck? Later, I told my dad that story on the phone. I was like, yeah, did you know people will just ask you if you have some at a fucking club, right? And then he was like, I don't know, like, that girl might have been like an undercover cop. And I was like, yeah, you think so? Like, you did some spy shit going on here? He was like, your other cousin told me a story about one time she was at like a college party when she was still in college. And there was some guy and he was like real chatty and
Conversational.
real chatty with her. Conversational. I was going to say conversationalist. He was real chatty with her and conversational and like, oh, this and that and how are you and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she at one point was like, is this guy like hitting on me? Like, he's like really friendly right now. Like, this is like, this is above average interaction, right? Effort, blah, 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 whatever. Eventually, she left the party. Later, she found out that guy was a fucking cop trying to bust people for underage drinking and all this shit. And he actually did bust people because, like, that's how they found out that he was a cop and shit. And it was like, oh, shit, that's crazy. So my dad was like, that girl might have just been, like, testing you guys. And I was like, maybe, but I don't know. I've heard, Perkins has a story of an interaction he had with some dude at, like, a national training thing. It's really interesting. I don't know. I think I would definitely ask him if I could tell that story before I tell it, because we think he was getting hit on by a dude.
I feel like Perkins always gets hit on by dudes.
Otherwise, Perkins gets hit on by dudes a lot. I think. Let me tell you something real quick. This is all I'll say. My roommate Perkins, right? I don't think he's gay, but I think gay dudes think he's gay, because he has a number of stories of interactions he's had with dudes, and I'm like, that dude was hitting on you, and he's like, nah, he was just friendly, and I'm like,
he was trying to get in your pants.
I don't think so. I think, he was friendly the way guys are friendly
to girls,
with girls and with guys that they, want to fuck. Anyways, so like, I was like, nah, I don't think he was just friendly. So here's the thing. I don't think Perkins is gay. But I'm like, I think gay dudes have better, like, gaydars than straight dudes. And if a bunch of gay dudes keep hitting on him, then I'm like, maybe they're onto something here. You know what I mean?
Don't you know sexuality's a spectrum?
Well, yeah, but
maybe still, Perkins just lays a little closer on this side of the straightness part, Just a tad.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I don't
You know,
know.
sometimes they know before you do.
I don't know.
Anyways,
Sometimes I see the way he looks into your eyes, and I'm just like, oh my god. Guys, Oscar thinks I'm
let me
a
see
freak.
what other.
For multiple. No, I'm talking now. Oscar.
I was about to be like, what are we talking about now? Okay, go ahead.
Guys, Oscar thinks I'm a freak for plenty of reasons, but in this particular reason, it happened because usually we'll call each other before the podcast, just like while we're setting up and whatnot. And then I was like, hold up, I gotta brush my teeth. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you fucking nasty ass. Like, you haven't brushed your teeth already? And I was like, no, I brushed my teeth already. And then I was like, but like anytime like I go out or anytime like we record, like I brush my teeth again. And Oscar is gonna sit there and say no. So I am gonna tell you what's up and what's what. Because there was a time where like
I knew it.
No, listen.
Let me
it's
tell
not
him.
now. Listen, there was a time where like I was nasty. And I wouldn't brush my teeth unless I was leaving the house.
This was Sophia's toothbrushing policy. She would wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast, whatever.
I would not get dressed.
And not brush her teeth.
Sometimes I'd eat breakfast.
And it wasn't until like, oh, we're going to Walmart. And it's the first time she's leaving the house and it's like 3 p.m.
Oh,
then
let me
she's
brush
like,
my teeth
no,
and get dressed.
I need to brush my teeth because I'm not going to be disgusting in public.
To be fair, I was all like sad at the time.
Nah,
and not in a very good. No, I was all like, ooh. And like,
I'm not
I was
saying you weren't sad. I'm saying it's not fair.
To be fair to myself. Anyways,
you forgive yourself.
Yeah, and like I wasn't in the greatest headspace at the time. I don't do that anymore. But I do always. It is still my policy. That actually, because I did brush my teeth like when I was supposed to before, and then like that happened, and then I only brushed it when I was going out, and then now everything's fine, and I brush my teeth like I'm supposed to again. But now, because of that little period where I would every time I go out, I'd brush my teeth. I got into that
like
habit.
Ready to go.
Yes, exactly. I don't feel ready to go. Like even honestly, even like if I brush my teeth, like let's say I woke up at like 8 p.m., right? Brush my teeth. We go, we're doing whatever for like an hour, and then Mom or Big Oscar at like 9:30 is like, hey, I want to go watch a movie. You want to come? I'll be like, yeah, I want to go. And then I'll go get dressed, and then I'll brush my teeth again. Like even if it's just like.
Do you brush your teeth at night before you go to bed?
Yeah. That's what I say. Like when I say like normal brushing teeth habits, it's morning and night.
Wake up and go to bed, and then whenever. So
and whenever I go
to the movies if you go to the movies at 11 a.m., you'll brush your teeth at 11 before you leave the house.
Yeah.
You come back, hanging out, whatever. You go out to eat at 5 p.m. You brushing your teeth before you leave.
Yeah. Well, no.
Okay, no, you need to chill, bro.
No. Actually, no. No. If I have to get dressed, like. If I have to get dressed,
so if you came
get
back
ready, it's
and
part
got
of
undressed because you weren't planning on leaving again, and then you do end up getting dressed to leave again.
I'll brush my teeth again. Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's part of my getting ready.
Weird.
It's part of my getting ready habit. And then if I don't, because there will be times where I'm like, oh, I didn't brush my teeth. I always carry mint gum with me, and then I'll chew mint gum. Yeah.
Sophia is a big gum person. She always has fucking gum. Like,
I do.
In her car and shit.
I do.
I can't do that shit. I get tired.
It's because you got a weak ass jaw, bruh. Look at these muscles. Just kidding.
You just squished your cheek out to the fucking side.
I did. But yeah, so those are my teeth brushing habits. Oscar thinks I'm a freak. Point is, Oscar thinks I'm a freak. I think, honestly, I'm just really scared of like having bad smelling breath. That's why I always like have gum and like mints and stuff like that. Like I'm scared because my teeth, they're like naturally yellow. I actually need to go like to the dentist and like get it like brightened or whatever. Like just the touch-ups that you do, like cleaning. Because I really like sweet tea and I like coffee and like all the stuff that makes your teeth not white. I like those things. So my teeth are just naturally a little yellow, even though I brush my teeth. So I'm scared that people are going to think like, oh, she got bad breath. So like I always, like, after every meal, I chew gum or, like, I'll eat a mint or something. You know what I mean? Like, always, always, always. I'm, like, dumb sometimes. Like, because a lot of medical terms, like, HOMO, that means same, right? Homo, it's same. And so I was trying to think. I was like, I think it's, like, not funny, but, like, just because of the way that my brain reacts to it, I think it's funny, like, in, like, the older movies or, like, even more new movies where, like, people are, like, making fun of, and then I couldn't think of the word. I was like, what's the word? Like people that are mean to, like, people, like, and then I think my dad was like, what, like, racist? I was like, no, it's not racist. It's not sexist.
You were like, people that are mean to gay people.
Yeah, I was like, the gay people haters. What are they called? And then I said it like
and then I on the phone, I was like, homophobic.
And I was like, homophobics. And I was like, that's funny because that's, like, part of, like, the, like, little bit that I was, like, gonna go on. I was like, yeah, because, like, they'll be like, oh, look at those, like, homos or whatever. And in my head, because homo, like...
But you with a medical background.
In my head, like, I don't see, like, before, like, homo, it means, like, that means the same. Like, the same, right? Hetero is, like, different. So if you're heterosexual, you like the opposite gender. You like different, right? If you're a homosexual, the same, right? So every time I see these movies or, like, shows or whatever, whenever there's, like, a bully that's like, oh, look at those homos, in my head I'm like, oh, look at those samesies, like, because that's how I remember it every time. Every time I, like, see the word, like, in the question, because there'll be, like, questions, like, for our tests, and, like, if I don't know it, I try breaking down the word parts to see if I can figure it out. So I'm like, okay, samesies. Which one of these answer choices would be, like, samesies? You know what I mean? So whenever they do that now, my brain just automatically makes that switch to, like, samesies, you know?
So if someone was being homophobic and they called some dudes homos, or it'd be like, yeah, you homos over there. It's like, yeah, you samesies over there.
Yo, like, that's just how I see it. And so, like, I can't even take that, like, whenever they're doing it, I can't even take it seriously.
You can't take it seriously
as an insult. Yeah,
that's what happens a lot of times with Andrew Tate. Sometimes he says shit that is so fucking ridiculous.
You can't even
that
take it
for
serious.
A second it feels like there's no way this guy's serious. Like, this has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's that type of shit where I'm like, come on, like,
yeah.
No fucking way, right? But it's shit like that. But that's a slippery slope because there's a lot of people out there that are dead fucking serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, you can fall into the mistake of laughing it off as, like, satirical. You know what I mean? But
no. Like,
I'm not taking a position on Andrew Tate or anything. But it just reminded me of that. But, like, yeah, so shit like that, like, those dudes mean that shit, and it's hard to take them seriously when you kind of see it through that lens. But it's like,
but no, like, I just don't.
Funny.
Like, I just don't take them. Like, I know that they're being serious about it. You know what I mean? But, like, I can't, like, it's just kind of another level of, like, well, one, if you're just being disrespectful, like, that's kind of like, I don't respect you anymore. But, like, now I don't respect you, and I'm laughing at you because you sound like a fucking idiot. Because you're saying, oh, samesies. You know what I mean? So.
You're such a nerd, bro.
I know.
That's such a nerd thing to go through. All right, then. Hit the outro, Sofia.
All right, that's it. Goodbye. Just kidding. That's it for today's episode, guys. Let us know if, I don't know. Let us know anything, I guess. Comment. We're desperate. Comment, subscribe, like. We'll see you next week. Bye.